In this video, I will be talking about Parkinson's disease. This particular disease causes a disruption in the way muscles move as a result of the neurons, also known as nerve cells, in the brain not functioning properly. Parkinson's disease varies in its severity on the people impacted by it, and on average, out of 100 people, one person suffers from it. People suffering from Parkinson's disease tend to be affected from a minimum of two of the following: bradykinesia, tremor, rigidity, and/or postural instability. Bradykinesia involves a decrease or slowing down of the voluntary muscle movements, which affects a person's ability to speak. Bradykinesia also involves a decrease of the movements that are performed automatically by the body. Like when a person is walking, their arm will not move back and forth. Also, the person will tend to have a reduction in the demonstration of emotions seen in their face. Tremor is another word that means shaking. The person suffering from Parkinson's disease will have involuntary shaking in certain areas of his or her body. Rigidity refers to the firmness of the muscles, which do not allow for the person to move as freely or comfortably. Postural instability means that the person loses their balance easily, which can lead to him or her falling down. The brain contains cells that are responsible for the production of a neurotransmitter known as dopamine. When these cells start functioning poorly or are dying out, the signs and symptoms of Parkinson's disease start appearing. The brain cells that produce dopamine are located in the substantia nigra of the brain. Dopamine is very important for cell-to-cell communication of the neurons, and it plays a big role in passing on the action potential from the axon terminal of one neuron across a synaptic cleft to the dendrites of the next neuron, as is seen in the following picture. The corpus striatum is one area of the brain dedicated to maintaining the body's stability and the muscles' movements. A lack of dopamine has negative impact on this specific portion of the brain. Parkinson's disease does not act quickly on the body. Instead, this disease advances in severity as time goes by. Someone may not know that they are being affected by Parkinson's disease because the signs and symptoms may take up to years to be recognized. The signs and symptoms relating to Parkinson's disease are walking slowly with short, sliding steps, shaking of body parts like the head and arms, incapability of completely bending the limbs, bradykinesia, a decrease in the freedom of the body's natural movements, like the arms moving back and forth while walking, a lack of balance, changes in the way the person talks, like talking in a single tone voice and talking at a lower volume, trouble with writing, making what they write difficult to read, extreme levels of sadness, changes in their emotions, and getting agitated easily. It is possible for people with Parkinson's disease to not demonstrate each of these signs and symptoms, and these signs and symptoms may be occurring more drastically on one particular half of the body compared to the other half. Pain is commonly associated with this disease as a result of the stiffening of the muscles. No generally recognized test is available to detect Parkinson's disease in a person. It is up to the doctor to thoroughly analyze the signs and symptoms shown by a patient to be able to identify if the patient has Parkinson's or not. The patient will never be completely liberated from Parkinson's disease once he or she already has the disease, but there are some treatments that may alleviate the signs and symptoms that come along with this condition. For example, medication like levodopa, which is a chemical, can help the brain produce dopamine, and this is the more favorable treatment commonly used when it is combined with carbidopa, which is also a medication. Levodopa is able to successfully make it to the brain with assistance from carbidopa, which also permits for lower quantities of levodopa to be needed, and it can decrease the possible side effects experienced when taking levodopa. Other treatments may include occupational, physical, and speech therapy. In more serious cases of Parkinson's disease, surgery may be needed.